my name is Alissa, and I own Gourmondo Co. I'm the founder, CEO. I actually started it in '96. So when I was 14, I started in the restaurant world as a dishwasher, and I absolutely love the energy around food, the creativity, the people, and really kind of fell in love with the business of food as well, and stayed in the industry up through college. And then after I graduated college, it was clear to me I wanted to stay in that space. I was passionate about food, but I also knew I wanted to be a mom, and I had to think about how I could shape that, because in the restaurant world, it's nights, it's weekends, and I wanted to be really thoughtful about, being able to be home. In fact, I had this sort of vision in my mind. I always wanted to be able to pick up my kids from school. That was like a big deal to me. And so as I thought about it, I thought, I wonder if I opened my own small business, if I could build it to a place where I could do just that. I could be home in time to pick up my kids and potentially work a part-time schedule. So the idea for Gourmondo was born, and in 1996, we opened small little 470 square foot space right next to a tattoo parlor, Madame Lazanga, which was awesome because she was our #1 client, which was great. And being that I had gotten a business degree, I'd made a big business plan. I was super excited. I thought, what, we're just going to crush it. The minute we open these doors, watch out. Doors opened. Wasn't quite what I thought. So first day sales, $36. That was not in my business plan. Plus 24 of it was my mother, so that didn't even count. So it was real clear to me that this was going to be a bit of a long road. And since my entire net worth was tied into it, I'd started the company with $4,000. I'd refinanced my Jeep to start the business. I knew I was going to be stuck. And I thought, not going according to plan right out of the gate, but I do need to start thinking about, what do I want this business to look like? Because, I can color outside the lines. And as a business owner, you get to decide what success looks like and what you want to do. And so I kind of kept coming back to really what was most important to me, which was family. And so I thought, okay, well, let's think about how we shape this business to support family. And one of the first things I did was, I built a production schedule so that the majority of any of my employees, if I ever got some, the majority of my employees would be able to get home in time to pick up their kids from school. So you fast forward 24 years later, and we do just that. The majority of our teams are off by 1 or 2 o'clock in time to pick up their kids. And so as I continue to think about, how do I create an environment that supports, my values, and also hopefully I can share those values with, like-minded employees. And the other thing we did was we would close production down between 10:15 and 10:45 so that we could all enjoy a meal together. And, to this day we do that. And I think that's been a really important part of the culture of Gourmondo. And over the years, one of the things that's been nice is we have the kids rolling in for lunch. The grandparents might drop them off so that they can have lunch with their parents. And that's been a really special part of the culture and the energy. And so that's something that I've always enjoyed and I'm very proud of. So, I think as I was building the company, it became more and more clear to me, like, success, I get to shape what that looks like. I get to pick the measurement. I mean, it can be aggressive growth, it can be a lot of revenue or a lot of profit, and those are awesome. But in the beginning, that actually was not my driver. And I thought, what? Coming back to this notion of I just want to pick up my kids from school, that was what success was going to look like to me, and I wanted to also create a product I was proud of. And I also wanted to be able to have enough time to open up to hopefully maybe mentor, some of my employees and be more involved in the community. And ironically, I mean, it's that success or that shape of success that's really helped me grow the company. So as I'm growing the company, here's what's going on. I started in '96. I didn't know what I didn't know. And so unfortunately, I made a lot of mistakes along the way, a lot. And particularly in 2006, I had an opportunity to grow the company, literally double it overnight. We had an incredible, huge corporate client contract. We were awarded the contract and we went in big. And I was like, you know what, bet in the farm, we're going to crush it. Well, we didn't. It almost crushed us. We actually, within 3 months, were on the verge of bankruptcy, and we were in crisis mode. We were out of cash, and it was a problem. We were done. And I remember when it finally hit me, and my bookkeeper came in crying, and she said, "We're out. You're going to have to think about bankruptcy. We're done." And so, you have these incredible waves of shame, guilt, anger, and I just couldn't believe that I had screwed up, that I made one bad decision and I was going to lose the company. 10 years in right now, I had 50 employees at the time, and just that feeling of complete shame that I could have screwed it up like this. So for me, what do? Resorting back to family, I call my mom. And I called her because she was also a businesswoman. She was a single mom, and I admired her. She was my mentor. She inspired me. She had a design firm in the city. And I called her. I said, "Mom, I screwed up. I'm going to lose the company. It's slipping through my fingers. It's over. I'm broke. I don't know what to do. I screwed it up. I can't believe this one stupid mistake, and I'm going to lose everything." And, I remember, I'll never forget it. She got real quiet. And then she said, "Oh, God, Alissa, get over it." I was like, "Hey, rude, not helpful, kind of hurtful. Do I need to walk you through this again? Because this is not helpful." And she's like, "Alissa, here's the thing. We're entrepreneurs. We own businesses. We take risks. We play Vegas. We make bets. And what's real clear and what you need to know is that you're going to make mistakes. Not all your bets pay off. And it is not the mistake that matters. It is how you recover that is going to define your success. So if you could just get over yourself and stop spinning on how you screwed this up, because yes, you did. We're clear on that." She's like, I think what you need to do is start focusing on how you're going to get this right, how you're going to rebuild, how you're going to recover. Put your energy there. And for me, that was a really defining moment in business. And it really it was that sort of light that went off that hey, you know what? I gotta let go of my mistake. I gotta get past it. I've got to pull myself together, because I don't want to be defined by a mistake. I want to be defined by how I solved it and how I recovered. And ironically, the project that we were on that just about knocked us off, and out of the game, we came back to that same concept 3 years later, and it has become the most fastest growing division of the business. So once again, it sort of teaches you that if you can learn from your mistakes and grow from them, you can come back and you can do some bigger stuff. So now it's time to grow up, because I've learned a lot of lessons here, taken a lot of punches. And I had really, for the first, honestly, 20 years, I really kind of created a lifestyle company. I worked part-time. Once I had my daughter, I made a commitment I'd never work full-time again. So I had her in 99, and I worked 2.5 days from then on. And that was a little interesting, because it required a discipline that I think wasn't natural to me, because as a business owner, you feel like you got to do everything for your company. You got to be there first, be there till the end. And so once again, it's about how do you define success? And for me, I knew success was going to be working part-time. And so as I brought in leadership, candidates, and we would talk about success and the different measurements, one of the things I would say is, okay, one indicator of success is that you don't see me more than 2.5 days a week. And if you do, something's probably gone terribly wrong, and somebody's probably going to get it. So, I will give you all the resources, all the support you need. And you know what? I'm going to support you in any way I can for you to, take ownership and lead, and, and you're going to have a lot of autonomy. And if you're comfortable with that, I think we got a good fit here. And so I think managing expectations was really important, and it really helped. And it also meant that I had to be laser focused when I was in work. It is just the facts, ma'am. We hit it hard those 2.5 days. And it also meant that I had to be disciplined. I didn't take meetings on Wednesdays. I didn't take meetings on Fridays. And it was sometimes hard to say no to clients, but it was a priority to me, and it worked. And, interestingly, as we grew the company, I continued up until COVID to work 2.5 days a week. Now, COVID is a different story. We'll get back to that later. I think for me in COVID, it's important that I'm here every single day alongside my teams, working with them, because, you know, we need to be in solidarity and focus together. And I would never have them do anything that I wouldn't do. So, but kind of going back to this notion of growing up, I've been running the company for 20 years. It's 2015. The company's kicking along at $5 million a year in revenue. And I found myself as a single mom. My kids were getting a little bit older, and I had to kind of do a gut check and start thinking about, what do I want my life to look like? You know, the kids are older. You know, where do I go from here? And what I realized is I did believe that there was a lot of opportunity in Gourmondo, and that we could really grow, and we could do more for the community, and that we could do bigger things. And so I also recognized that in order to do that, I was going to have to get out of my way. I mean, once again, I think you can't underestimate the power of humility. And I had to get clear about where I could add value and where I really got in the company's way. And as I thought that through, I knew I could support business strategy, branding, business development. Those were areas where I could really add value. But I suck as an operator, and I'm not good with the details. And so, you know, I made the commitment and the decision to just really put all of the financial resources of the company into talent acquisition. I was going to get the greatest talent I could find in the region. First stop was the president. Bringing him on was game changing, and then also bringing on other, you know, tiers of leadership in the kitchen and in administration. And what was extraordinary is when you bring in and you invest in that kind of talent, just the energy and the focus that comes with that, they're unstoppable. I mean, you just hit go, and you're on fire. So I had to also stay in my lane though too, which meant that I do what I do best. I allow the teams to do what they do best, share that road with them, give them a long runway. And, you know, we took that company from 2015 to 2019, from $5 million up over $17 million, doubled the bottom line, and we had a ton of fun doing it. So for me, it was a really exciting journey. And then, you know, as we get bigger, as you grow up, I think the other thing that happens is you realize, like, hey, now it's time to give back. Like, I have resources. So I have an opportunity now to sort of support the community that's been supporting me and supporting my teams. So one of the things we did as we were, you know, kind of looking at, okay, how do we shape that? Because in the beginning, everyone's like, can you donate? Can you donate? Can you donate? And you're like, yep, happy to donate, no problem, got you. And you're donating and you're donating. And then I started to realize as we got bigger, we really need to be intentional, and this needs to be meaningful. So two things we're going to do. First of all, it's going to become a part of our daily rhythm and our daily operation. Secondly, I want to make sure that whatever we're committed to, whatever nonprofits that we're partnering with and investing in, resonates with my employees, what's important to them, because they're also working and producing these products that are being donated. And so let's get clear. And, you know, I have a lot of young families, single parents. I have a lot of immigrants that work for me. So we decided on a number of nonprofit causes that we were passionate about. A lot that support youth, a lot that support the rights of minorities and immigrants. And what we did is we decided to launch a line of box lunches, and we call them the giving boxes. 7 different box lunches, each one with proceeds going back to a particular nonprofit that we were proud of. And for me, it was the right thing to do. It felt like, you know what, it was meaningful. But what I totally underestimated, and for me this was the business lesson, I didn't realize how powerful it would be to our customers. And so what was interesting is as we launched this line, it became one of the highest revenue streams. People want to put their money where they believe there's purpose. And so that was a really important, I think, opportunity for us to really understand. And it was a big win-win. And, you know, I've got 2 young gentlemen on the slide right here that one was with an organization, he had been homeless and he had gone through a job training program, and he's now an incredible, you know, employee of Gourmondo. Another gentleman who is, was a star basketball player in the one and only sports team that Gourmondo sponsors, which is the Eagles. And it is the basketball team for the Echo Glen Juvenile Detention Center. And these young men are exceptional, and I am proud to employ them as they come back into the community. So that just gives you kind of a sense of, you know, what we're doing. And now let's talk about today, where we find ourselves. So COVID was not fun in food and beverage. We got hit hard and fast. I would say harder than just about any industry. You know, we lost 80% of our sales in 48 hours. And so it was hard to just catch up to it. I mean, it knocks the breath out of you. It's one thing, I think as an owner, you're always going to take bullets for your company. You get one every year or so. But this was like getting in front of a firing squad. You just couldn't triage fast enough. And so as we're catching up to our new reality, we pull the leadership team in together and we're like, hey, we got to get real here. We got to do a gut check. Are we going to keep these doors open? Are we going to pivot? Are we going to be an essential service? Can we do this? And you know what? It was unanimous. The leadership team, the employees are like, we got this. We want to be a part of our community. We're here for our community. You know, luckily we had the facility, we had the team, we got the heart, you know, to take care of, you know, our city. And we were also incredibly fortunate that we had really extraordinary corporate partners and clients. And early in COVID, Amazon reached out to us and they said, hey, you know, any chance that you guys could help us provide meals to a few thousand low-income elderly folk that are sheltering in place in the housing authorities? They can't get to the food banks, they're in trouble, you know, can you help? And I said, are you kidding me? We'd be honored. We would love to help. We got this. So we started that project, and as we started the project, the other thing we realized was there were a lot of like-minded corporations that wanted to support their community. And you know what, we were lucky enough to be in the business of being able to provide meals. And there's never been a time where more meals are needed. And so we started collaborating with some of our different clients. And what we decided, once again, we pulled the leadership team together. And we knew that the biggest priority was to feed as many people as possible, which meant we had to do it all at cost. I had to call in favors from other food vendors. What do you got? What can you donate? What do you got that you got a deal on? And it kind of became a labor of love within the Seattle food scene. And we ended up designing and putting together these really beautiful meal packages. And, you know, we started sending them to a dozen different hospitals, to all the frontline workers. We sent them to homeless women and their children that were sheltering at Mary's Place, to the homeless youth at Youth Care. We took them and we sent them all over the city, working with different corporations, Nordstrom being one of them. Currently, right now, we're working with another extraordinary nonprofit, Fair Start, and we're assisting them in providing 2,200 meals a day to young school children who have been on assisted meal programs. So it's, you know, it's been a very powerful, meaningful time for us. And I would say it's the silver lining in all of this is that we're real clear that as we go forward, we're establishing, you know, a nonprofit division in the company. And I would also say that, you know, when it's all said and done, you come back to family, you come back to what's important. And for me, I want to make my family proud. I want to make my kids proud. I want to make my employees proud. I want to make my community proud. And as we are sitting here in a very difficult pandemic situation, what I'm learning and what I truly believe is that, you know, clearly money comes and goes. Like, I get that. I'm seeing it. And you know, COVID is going to come and go. But what I do believe is important is this moment. And it's how we show up in this moment that is going to be defining. It's going to last. And so I want to make sure that my company, that we show up, because I want us to look back and be really, really proud. And that's important because that's what's going to last. You know, and in closing, because this is my speech and I get to kind of say, you know, my most important part is that, you know, I have the distinct honor and privilege of being a part of an industry and owning a company that can provide opportunities to people that I believe are often underserved, whether they come from faraway places and they struggle to speak English as a second language, or they're people that have had a very difficult past and they're looking for a new start, just a fresh beginning. Or, you know, we have a number of homeless youth that come to us and they need a community. They don't always have a home to go back to. And what I can tell you, and what I have learned and seen, is that when these people show up to Gourmondo, and I want to be clear, they are not looking for a handout. They're looking for a hand up. And that, for me, is what I'm most proud of. That is the DNA of Gourmondo, is that we provide opportunities to help lift people up. And so, you know, in closing, I would tell you that in this COVID environment, there is nobody that you want along your side in an essential business pushing through this than these extraordinary people. They have the grit, they have the determination, they have the passion, and they have the commitment. And working alongside them makes me a better business person, and it makes me want to have a stronger company. They're my inspiration. And, you know, once again, it all comes back to family. You can find it in so many different places. And, you know, I think if you capture those moments, you pay attention to those moments, you can do really good things. So thank you for your time. Appreciate it. First time I've ever done this. So thank you so much. Bye.